Hello guys, and welcome to the new series for the channel, which is called Rant Street, where I take an automotive topic that's somewhere in the world, most likely in the UK, and I go on a rant, basically, giving you my opinion, my facts, my opinion, and my opinion. I asked quite a few of you, whether it was on Facebook, Instagram, or on YouTube, whether you'd like to see this, and a lot of you, well, I'd say 99% of you went, yes, I want to hear you go on a rant, because you apparently like me hearing me go on a rant. So that is what we're going to do. Now the style of this video is a bit like a podcast, so you could plug this in to a speaker, you could connect it to like your car stereo and stuff like that, and you'll just be able to hear me talk to you. There's going to be no visuals, because like I said, I want this in the style of a podcast, but for those that's watching it on YouTube, again, you can walk away whilst it's playing and can still hear me talking. That is the purpose of this video, or it's almost like an audio file. So like I said, it's like a podcast, and they're all going to be the same. They're all going to be podcasts. Maybe down the line we could get some special guests and we could have some banter between a couple of people. Don't know why I'm pointing down there, because there's nobody down there. It's just me in my garage. So this is Rant Street from Bluudys garage by Bluedy in his garage. And I think that sums it up. So starting off the series, it's quite a, in my mind, it's quite a hot topic in the UK. So we're going to be discussing, or I'm going to be discussing and ranting, the UK's modified car scene. So without further ado, let's get into this. So the first thing I'm going to do is throw back to the early noughties, so like 2002, 2003, 2001. To me, that is when the Max Power scene, Max Power, for those that's not in the UK, was a magazine producer of modified cars. That's when the Max Power scene was, in my eyes, at its maximum, maybe up to 2005. So what is the Max Power scene, I hear you ask? Well, that's where people with creative juices would have gone and got their car and modified it properly. That doesn't mean just sticking a side skirt on from a higher spec car or something like that. That means they'll go out there and they'll get a full-on fiberglass body kit and they will bolt it to their car, and it would look, in today's mindset, horrendous. But back then it was cool because it had individuality and creativity. And that's the days when people was running Xboxes and PlayStations in their cars just because they could, because they'd have an inverter, they'd have a screen in the dashboard, and they could. It's also the time when you had Lambo doors on Fiestas and suicide doors on Cavaliers. I saw, it was crazy the stuff that people was doing. And the main thing back then for me was the creativity side of it. So you could literally do anything you wanted. You want a split opening bonnet? You could have a split opening bonnet. If you wanted hydraulic doors that spun, you could. If you want spinners or spinner wheels, spinner alloys, you could. There was no rules, there was no regulations realistically, and you could do whatever you wanted. It was also the time for neons. And I love neons. Neons, all they are lights under your car, but they're cool. They're absolutely cool. Bring back neons, in my mind. But that's where we were back in the early noughties. It was a scene just covered in creativity. Just everything going possible. To every car possible. You didn't have to have necessarily a mainstream car. You go to a modified car show and they'd have everything. Every car there. Old. No, they didn't even really have new cars, to be fair. It was all the older cars. No one could afford a new car. That was the thing back then. So they'd have like an XR2i, an XR3i. They'd have Novas. They'd have Corsas, because obviously that's what replaced the Nova. So Corsas, they'd have lots of them. They'd have the old Fiestas back. Well, that's what I said. XR2s, XR3s, Escorts. But then you'd have like Sierra Cosworths and stuff like that, and even they would be modified, and not just power. They'd have some sort of freaking modification on them. But the body kits you could buy then. Let's take for the Corsa. There were so many body kits that you could buy, all different styles. They had massive gashes in them, or they had teeth, and it was just big. The one I remember the most for the Corsa was the combat kit, because it was just massive. Just a massive rounded bumpers and skirts all the way around it. But That's what people did. Now, how did we get from there to where we are now? So, where are we at now? To sum it up, you have the same car. Let's take the Fiesta, the current Fiesta, the 1 litre EcoBoost. You'll go to a car meet now, and everyone's got them. Everyone has got the 1 litre EcoBoost Fiesta. And they all look the same, because they'll all stick the ST kit on it. Or it'll be an ST, you know. They'll all stick the ST bumpers on it, and the ST skirts, and then the ST exhaust. Or, occasionally, you might find someone's got a different exhaust on. But realistically, they're all lowered, they all look the same, the only difference is the colour. But they're still standard colours, they're not even colours of back into the max power days. You can have any colour you want. Put any colour on it, doesn't matter, spray it any colour. But now people don't do that now. And it got me thinking, why? Why don't people do that now? Why has the creativity been lost throughout the years? Why does no one want to modify a car like they used to? And yet they say it's a modified car now, but it's not. So, in my mind, the reason why, and it's one word really, is finance. Finance is it. You finance your car, you buy some finance wheels, you buy some finance airbag suspension, because that's what you can do, because it's so expensive to buy, you can finance it. And that is it. That is what most of the cars are now. They will be a finance car with finance suspension with finance wheels. And that will be near enough it. Because you can remove the suspension and put it back to standard, and you can remove the wheels and put it back to standard, because when it's a finance car, you're not technically allowed to modify it, because it's not your car until you have paid the finance off. So you're technically modifying somebody else's car, and if they find that out, they can revoke the finance, take the car off you, and then you've lost everything. Excuse me, listeners, why there's a plane above. I do live very close to the airport. So that is why the modified car scene has gone downhill, because you can't go to a body shop garage and get them to put a massive Leary body kit on and fill it and get it all to fit and have the custom smooth this, that and the other and expect them to finance it. Oh yeah, we've done £2.5 grand's worth of work, but we'll let you pay 25 quid a week for the next 5 years. No body shop in their right mind is going to do that, because the body shop need the money for the time and effort that they put in over the week or whatever it is to modify your car. So you can't, even if you had that creative juice, you don't have the money. That is the thing. You don't have the money to do it nowadays. Back in the max power days, it would take you years, unless you was rich, it would take you years to keep modifying a car. Oh, I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to buy that, and now I've got to save a bit more, and we'll go buy this. You won't finance anything. Finance wasn't an option back then. And to be honest, I don't think finance should be an option now for modified cars, because it's not your car, it's not creative, and there's no individuality. And there's no fun going to a frigging car meet now. Or even, let's say if you go to like Fast Ford shows or the Vauxhall shows, they're all the same. There's just rows of finance cars that look the same, with a couple of old ones thrown at the back because they're too leery and people don't like them now. But that was fun. That was creativity. That was what people wanted to see. Well, people didn't know what they wanted to see. That was the thing. But everyone had their own individual idea of what they wanted the car to be. Most of the time, it didn't even look like a car sometimes with the kits that was on them. I remember going to a modified car show back in the noughties, and it was an XR3, I think. I could be wrong. It was an Escort convertible. I think it was an Escort XR3. I don't know if they did convertibles. I'm sure someone will leave a comment and tell me otherwise. But it was an Escort. You know, the boxy one, not the rounded one after, the boxy one. And they got a wide arch kit on it, custom made wide arch kit. And then the exhaust came up through the boot floor, and then went out of like just above the back bumper, so between the lights, and they had these two exhausts. And when you open the boot, you just saw these lovely polished stainless steel back boxes in the boot with a glass floor underneath, not glass floor, a mirrored floor underneath it. So it was all shiny, then some lights in it. It was just cool. Yeah, you could put any shopping in it because it doesn't melt to the exhaust. But as a show car, because that's what it was cool. It was absolutely cool. And it had massive 20-inch wheels on it that were big 5 chunky spokes, but each spoke were made up of squares. I can't even describe it to you, but it was cool. Now you'll go and everyone's got the same sort of wheels. They've got, and I don't get me wrong, I do like them, but everyone's got like rotors. I like rotors though. But they've got like 3 DSMs or whatever they are, and I'm sure some of you will leave some other comments of other freaking wheels. I don't even know the brands of the wheels nowadays because the wheel manufacturers have come up out of nowhere. They've brought a wheel out and everyone's buying them because you can finance it. So then that makes it popular and that makes it cool because everyone's got them. But realistically, the only reason you've got them is because of finance. They might even not even look that good. They'll suit certain cars. Cracking me, can't get my words out. But you'll just put them on any car, and you'll all have the same car. So then your friend will turn up. Oh, I like them wheels. Where did you get them from? Oh, I got them from such and such. Oh, right. Next week. Oh, look, I've got the same wheels. Wow. Look at the freaking creativity you've got there. And that is where we are currently at in the UK. There's a couple of older people. When I say older, I'm not talking like in the 50s. I'm talking people from probably 30 up. Will still have cars potentially, if they've not crashed them, that was from that noughties era. So from the max power stage, and they won't bring them out to shows anymore because people don't want to see them. They want to see an airbag Fiesta or an airbag Golf or an airbagged Passat or an airbagged Audi. They want to see airbag stuff. Airbag's not cool. Not when it's on. It was cool when it was on a couple of cars. It's not cool anymore when it's on every car. Why do people strive so much for airbags? In my eyes, it's not cool. It's a waste of money. Airbags should be on cars that deserve airbags, that look good lowered. And there's people keep walking past. And cars that like airbag suspension are your big American 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s cars, like an El Camino that you drop it low and it just looks cool. Having your mum's Focus sat on the floor on airbags is not necessarily cool when the rest of the car is standard. It's like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't excite anybody. In my eyes, it doesn't anyway. But that is where we're at. So the question is, where are we going to go? Because the modified car scene normally moves in like swings and roundabout sort of things. So some things go out, some things come back. But now I don't think anything really is going to come back. Creativity isn't going to come back because it isn't cheap, and you can't finance it. So you're not going to have custom this and custom that. You're going to get custom exhausts because they are relatively cheap and people will buy them. You can get a custom exhaust for a car and have like 400 quid, if not less, maybe a bit more depending on the car. So you'll get things like that. But bodywork, nah, the only thing you're going to get now is upgrading a lower spec car with a higher spec car stuff. So your 1 litre Z-Tech Fiesta, like for example, you'll go and get the ST bumpers for it. And maybe a facelift conversion, but that's still of the same car. So I think that's what's happening now. I don't really know where you can go from there. A lot of manufacturers back in the day that used to produce all these fiberglass body kits, they don't really make them now. So the only real scene, in my eyes now, where you've got creativity left in the UK is the JDM scene, the Japanese domestic market. So that's stuff like what I've got, for example. So your MR2s, your Supras, your Skylines, your Silvias, you know, your 300, 350Zs, 370Zs, all this chassis sort of stuff. They've still got massive following around the world with big Leary body kits, especially over in China. The kits they've got over there, they'd be illegal over here. They just would, because they're massive and they've got exhaust that's freaking like 20 foot tall and stuff like that. It's just crazy the stuff they've got over there. So wherever they've still got their scene going, we can get parts from them. So I think the JDM scene in the UK is probably the best looking scene, but it's also one of the ones that gets the most hate from people who don't follow the JDM scene. Oh look, it's a fiberglass bumper held together with tie wraps. Yeah, that's part of the scene. And it's cool because it's different than having a bumper that's off of the same car that's a higher spec. It's just cool. Granted, don't get me wrong, fiberglass bumpers are horrible when you hit anything because they just shatter. But while it's not shattered, it looks cool and it looks different. And looking different, in my eyes, is still better than looking the same. It just is. So that is the only market in my eyes in the UK that is still good. The German market, so that stuff like your Audis, your Golfs, they're all the same. I don't get me wrong, you can make some quick cars out of them, like, because you can swap and change some of the Audi stuff and put them onto the Volkswagen stuff, and I think you can do Volkswagen to Skoda, maybe even Audi to Skoda, I don't know. But I know you can make some quick cars, but they still look boring. Yeah, your Fabia's fast, and yeah, it chucks out a lot of black smoke, and I still don't get that. All this freaking no smoke, no poke business. Petrols don't smoke, unless they're smoking tyres, and they're much faster than your diesel. I just think it's a load of crap. But they all look the same. They all on freaking airbags as well on freaking finance wheels. It's freaking boring. Car shows now are boring. And that brings us to the end of my rant, really. Because I don't know where we're going to go. Finance seems to be the only way. All the younger generations, they're going to be in the same sort of boat. They're going to want a newer car with more gadgets and that in it. And I totally get it. I totally understand a car with gadgets in is better than a car with none. Back in my day, a car with electric windows was much better than a car with windy windows. And I know I've had windy windows and I've had cars with no power steering. I've still technically got one. I understand gadgets make cars better, but you shouldn't have to finance your life to get a car that you want to build. But who knows what the future will bring, literally, in terms of the car world. But I do think the modified car world in the UK is dead for the vast majority of people now. And I don't think it's something I'll be taking part in much longer. I'll be moving on to doing different things. I've discussed before that I kind of want to get a camper van, well, a van, and turn it into a camper van. So it's not, I'm moving away from the modified car scene. I'm still modifying something, but it's not to be in a scene, it's for my life. Making it in a camper van, so it's something I can enjoy. My partner can enjoy, we can go away and enjoy. But I want to make that myself, because that's what I know. I won't be financing it, you know. So, this is the end of my rant. This has been my first rant on Rant Street. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any feedback, if you have any comments, if you have any questions about what I've ranted, if you want to leave your story, voice your opinion, please leave a comment below this video. Or if you're listening on another source, if I've managed to figure it out, hopefully there's a way that you can communicate on there as well. So do that. I don't know what it is. So do that as well. Because like I said, it's like a podcast. So leave your feedback, leave your comments, tell me your story. Let's see if we can get a debate going. If you have any ideas or any other rant suggestions, please leave them below. I have some written down already that I want to do, but if you have some that's interesting, then I will of course do that rant and I will give credit for your idea. So thank you very, very much for watching this first ever episode of Rant Street. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed me ranting. And I will see you very soon in another car video or a rant video. Who knows? Ciao. What do I normally say? I don't normally say ciao, do I? Sometimes I say ciao. What do I say? Peace out. I don't say peace out. Stay cool? No. Stay calm? No. What do I normally say? Come on, some of you are probably screaming it now. What do I normally say at the end of my video? Stay humble.